2 in the first round of the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. UCLA plays Texas Tech on Saturday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hello. Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you. Love you.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not doing serious. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tavis Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580, good morning, and God bless, and happy Friday. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing today especially, but really every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's go, let's move the needle, let's make it happen. I know it's not a full moon or anything, is it? What is actually happening? Why are all the werewolves and werewomen out? Why are there 12 kinds of crazy on top of the other 12 kinds of crazy? I do not know, but I hope you take it slow and give yourself space and grace and be aware of time and place, as they say. Like there's a lot of kind of energy out there on this Friday. But this is how we do the show on today. Hour one, we look local, what's happening on the left coast, which of course extends to the whole world because we're broadcasting from Leimert Park, Africatown, USA. So for us, that's kind of the center of the universe. You are here. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. But on Fridays, we do Freedman Friday. We focus on reparations, and we will make no exception to that rule today. We're going to keep ourselves informed, keep ourselves relevant, and hopefully continue to be part of the momentum around this conversation. And in the third hour, we do something unexpected, something random. Today, we'll be talking with Khalif, the reparationist, and we will. Alexander is his last name. We'll talk with him about the work he's been doing on reparations, and then we will have a special surprise special guest, an artist in the studio. I'm scared to say it because, well, you'll see. That should be a great conversation. Looking forward to it. You're always invited in, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. If you got a thing to say, the other thing you can do is drop in on YouTube at KBLA 1580 and get in the conversation with some commentary. The comments in the conversation always robust and interesting and funny. And plus, you'll meet some new friends. Okay, well, guess who's here? It's every other Friday. He's a papa, he's a KBLA contributor, and he is the president of a company called ES Advisors. If you need some help on your campaign or a policy proposal that you have, he is your guy, Ed Sanders. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Dominique. Happy Friday to you.
Well, thank you. Happy Friday to you as well. Man, because there's so much going on in Washington, it's really easy to miss a lot of the local developments that are actually pretty important and pretty interesting. And it's important that we track them, right? I mean, it's too easy to just be fixated on the shiny object or objects or the train wreck in Washington and forget that we always have to sweep around our own front door, think globally, act locally. I know one of the things I have not talked about at all is this, and that you have been tracking, is this minimum wage raise for tourism workers, is $30 an hour minimum wage for hotel workers. The Chamber of Commerce and other hotel owners and such are saying this is going to kill the tourism industry in LA, that hotels are going to move elsewhere. But the LA City Council did vote just about a week ago to approve this minimum wage increase. And it's only for hotels with 60 rooms or companies that do business at LAX. They've got to pay $30 an hour. It doesn't kick all the way in until 2028. But I found it really interesting because while the city budget is so strange, right, and it's been blamed on these pay raises for unions, really, for unionized workers, including the police, the city council went ahead and approved this increase. How do you see it, Ed? Is this another debacle for our budgets, or is this just what people need to get by in LA?
I see it as the latter. I think, one thing about the debate is you never truly see the actual numbers, right? And we're sort of speaking in terms of, should we give the raise or this will hurt tourism. I view it more like a salary cap on an NBA team, right? Where what percentage of the overall revenue is devoted to the employees, right? And if revenues are up and the percentage of revenue for the corporation is up, then certainly the employees should share in some of the largesse. And that's kind of the way I see it. What I haven't seen is those numbers, so I can't answer that question. I assume that the council has, and they're comfortable with raising the minimum wage appropriately.
Yeah, it will make that the highest minimum wage in the country, I guess, for hotels with more than 60 rooms. So if you need a raise, that you may try to get in on one of those jobs, but those are not easy jobs either. We're talking about, tourism. It's a grind.
Yeah, well, it's one of those that with an eye towards African American and the labor movement, it's always been one of those industries where we look to increase our numbers in the overall percentage of hotel workers, right? A lot of work through the years has gone into recruiting and getting folks onto those jobs, but the numbers have remained fairly stagnant, low if I remember right. But to your point about them being really solid jobs, they are. And for those of us in LA that are looking for work, that's solid work.
Yeah, and it's interesting because council member Monica Rodriguez is one of the people we think may be planning to run for mayor against Karen Bass. Made that exact argument. She said, "Look, we had to lay off all these people from City Hall." She says 1,600. I think it's now down to 6, and that the same thing is going to happen in the private sector. Hard to imagine that hotels and also airport. It's not just hotel workers; it's also airport workers. That they would just lay people off en masse if tourism is continuing to bounce back from the COVID levels.
Yeah, it's hard to see that on the airport worker side. It's one of the proprietors in the city, so it's directly related to the strength of airlines using the airport, and that appears to be strong. That and so that part of the economy is really a strong side. The hotel, I imagine you can show data on the room bookings and the profitability of the rooms, but LA's hotels in and around the airport have always been highly profitable.
And we've got the Olympics coming up, we've got the World Cup, and we have the All-Star Game. So I think there's going to be a lot of tourism. That said, one of the hotel owners was quoted in the press saying they were going to tear up their block agreements, that some hotels would not honor the commitment to house people from the Olympics if they have to pay their workers more. I'm not quite sure what the correlation is there, but speaking of the Olympics, you sent me an article about the Metro. The ones that run our public transportation here in LA, how they have this huge deficit going through 2030, a $2.3 billion deficit, and yet they're going to move forward with their budget move forward as if we're getting money from the Olympics, for the Olympics from this Trump administration, even though we don't know if we will or not. They voted to move ahead with their $9.4 billion budget for next year. And it's a small increase, even though we don't know what the feds are going to do.
Yeah, good. I hadn't seen that article, but how you predict what happens in Washington now is it's just got to be baffling for some agencies, and Metro is one of them. So much of what happens in transportation is funded through the federal government, and so I think you got to proceed as you expect to, right? And look, if they cut the funding, then you address it then. But at this point, I would assume that you're going to get the funding and keep plugging forward.
Yeah, well, I guess you have to, even though it seems that this administration is really intent on punishing California in every way they can. And this is a really good example of how the local and the national are one. Because if we welcome in the Olympics, we're going to need some of the tax dollars that we send to subsidize every other state back to help cover the costs of making sure we're ready for that. And we're representing not just California or LA, we're representing the United States to the world at that point. So it seems logical that you would bolster our economy, especially given the fires and everything. But there's no logic in our current administration. So what do? I guess you're right. And Metro does what they have to do. They feel they have to do, move forward and keep preparing for the thousands and thousands of people to descend on our city as the Olympic city host. And even though I know some progressives do not like the Olympics, I am a fan of the Olympics. I love the sport. I love the international camaraderie, the exchange between different countries, the inspiration of it. No, I don't want people to be, arrested and criminalized if they're houseless. I also would like to point out that LA is the only city that's actually made money off of the Olympics in the past, and hopefully we can do that again.
Yeah, I never quite understood those that don't like the Olympics. I I love the Olympics. They're near and dear to our history. Those of us that were in LA in '84 remember. I still have my little Olympic pins that I collected those years. But Carl Lewis, Flojo, the Olympics have always been important. They've always been important for us as African Americans because every 4 years you get to see the Pan-African excellence, right? Whether it's African Americans on the U.S. side, but you get to see now the Africans coming over whose track teams and Olympic teams are a lot stronger now. They're really competing. I love the Olympics. It's one of the better experiences on the planet.
Yeah. Well, I guess
we could host it every 4 years.
We're progressives with unpopular opinions. If you want to share, 800-920-1580. It's Ed Sanders and Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
You really about to do it?
40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580. And we've got your black.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. Marina Del Rey turns 60, and you're invited to the party. Join us Saturday, May 31st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Burton Chase Park for Marina Culture Jam, a free community celebration packed with music, dance, art, and fun for all ages. Experience electrifying performances by Takeo Project and Inca. Take a historic harbor tour, join the Freedom Drum Circle, and hop on a $1 water bus ride. Celebrate culture, connection, and coastline. RSVP at beaches.lacounty.gov/Marina Culture Jam.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, you're back to me, and I'm glad about it, as Mr. Smiley would say. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. Ed Sanders here with me this morning, and the former sheriff Alex Villanueva, he just won't go away. It's like mold in your house. It takes a lot to get rid of it.
Oh, a little bit.
He just won't go away. He pops up everywhere. He's a federal judge once again dismissing a $25 million lawsuit from him. He was suing the county, saying the county defamed him and violated his rights. And that he lost out on jobs because his personnel file was labeled "Do Not Rehire" because he was harassing county officials. Now, remember, last week I was reporting on this story about this LA Times reporter who's suing the county because Villanueva was basically having the whole department stalk her, and because she was reporting on this list of 30 deputies that were, 300 deputies, problem deputies, I'd say. So, he just keeps popping up. He was not reelected, and yet he's constantly, somewhere doing something that we have to report on. What do you make of this?
It's me stumped for words on this one.
It's like this mini-me MAGA guy, and here we are, California. We're supposed to be a blue state, but I question that. I feel like we're kind of purple at the moment. And this guy, the judge says he could refile it again, so he could refile a third time. But to me, I always laugh, Ed, when you got these MAGA guys, these very conservative, Villanueva, as you know, recently came out of the closet as a Republican after he had pretended to be a Dem for all these years, who act like they do all the things that they criticize us for doing. Oh, he's crying, he's whining, he's saying he's been discriminated against, etc.
Yeah, this is, look, I'm no Alex Villanueva fan. I am curious, and I don't know the answer to this, why the no rehire, notation on his file.
You need clarity on that.
But he was voted out. Right. I don't know why you would put that necessarily.
Yeah, well, they're saying because he was harassing county employees. That's two county officials. They're saying. Remember, he's the one that ordered. I don't know if this is who those two county officials were, but remember he ordered the raid on Sheila Kuehl's home.
Sure, right.
Council member. I'm not trying to stand up for Alex Villanueva, but it seems like one of those things that you could have. I think he's taking an opportunity, and that's just him. He was probably running
for
something.
For what it is, and it is with they'll throw it out. But
so this article says he was harassing Sheriff Robert Luna. Excuse me, it just sounds funny. The old sheriff harassing the new one, and members of the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, they were doing a lot. Even in the face of it, even if you didn't list him as a not rehire, he was going to try to find some opportunity to sue the city. He's that type of person that he was going to sue somewhere, right? He tripped on his desk in the office. He was going to sue.
Yeah.
So, and again, it feels like the judge sees it for what it is and is throwing the case out.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if he files again. I feel like he's running for something. And, Chad LoBianco, the sheriff in San Bernardino, Riverside, has beat him to the punch as far as running for governor. So I don't think he can do that. I don't know how many MAGA sheriff guys we can have running for governor. That guy, of course, was an admitted former member of the, not the Proud Boys, a similar organization to the Proud Boys. And now he's running for governor as a Republican. So I don't think there's room in that lane.
Yeah, you're right. There's one of those candidates is too many for this race, but there's certainly not enough room for two of them.
800-920-1580 if you want to say a thing. It looks like we've got another heat wave coming in starting today. Triple digits all over the state. And, of course, that means that, people need to hydrate, be careful. I was shocked when I read about how many people die from dehydration and heat. And it's underreported because we think they died from whatever old age or whatever disease they have. But apparently it's we've got a rough weekend ahead.
Yeah, we do. And glad you're raising that. Certainly for the elders in the community, you got to make sure that they're drinking their water. The heat is going to be triple digits across the Southland, and it jumps up on you, especially if you're older. If you walk down the block or do even just sitting at home, if you haven't drank the water, it can get on top of you, and that can be dangerous. So
I mean, they're saying that avoid going outside during the hottest hours of the day, like try to stay in the shade. Obviously, you could wear a hat or wear an umbrella, but it says, if possible, stay in air-conditioned rooms. Some of us don't have air conditioning in our homes. When I moved to LA, it was not this hot all the time. You didn't need it, and now you do. So they do have heat like centers that you can go to. You can go to the library, but I think if you go to the Ready LA County website or dial 311, they can tell you where there's a cooling center where you can actually go and just chill. But man, don't leave your kid or your dog or your cat or your ferret in the car. When it's this hot, they'll die almost instantly. And, this is serious business. When they start putting out dangerous heat warnings, it's time to pay attention, even if you think you can handle it. 800-920-1580 if you want to say a thing to me or Ed or the world. That's the number to dial. We've got news, traffic, and sports right now, then more, only right here.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz says conditions at Miami's Crone Detention Center are incredibly disturbing.
They are there for 24 to 48 hours and are having to sleep, eat, and defecate and urinate in the same room.
During a surprise visit, she found over 1,100 migrants crammed into a facility built for 882. President Trump is in Pittsburgh today for his first rally since re-election, celebrating a new deal allowing Japan's Nippon Steel to invest in U.S. steel. The partnership keeps the company's headquarters in Pittsburgh and promises billions in upgrades across U.S. facilities. And mental health teams are on the ground in tornado areas of St. Louis, Missouri. Behavioral Health Response has deployed 40 clinicians to help residents cope with trauma, and residents can dial 988 for 24/7 support. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Dodgers and the Yankees, two of baseball's most iconic franchises. Their rivalry, once a battle between boroughs, would transition into an East Coast-West Coast affair. Come to Dodger Stadium Friday, May 30th through June 1st for the 3-game series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
For New York Knicks fans around the country, your season is not over. The Knicks avoided elimination in the NBA playoffs Thursday night with a 111-94 win over Indiana in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana is up 3-2. The series goes back to Indianapolis for Game 6 on Saturday. The Knicks need to win to force a Game 7 in New York on Monday. The Yankees are in town this weekend to play the Dodgers. Game 1 of a 3-game series is tonight at Dodger Stadium. First meeting between the Dodgers and Yankees since they met up in the World Series last year. The Angels are at Cleveland tonight. The Angels are trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. UCLA's softball team got a walk-off 2-run homer from Jessica Clemens to beat Oregon 4-2 in the first round of the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. UCLA plays Texas Tech on Saturday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
1455 Frazee, San Diego. CordellCordell.com.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. So much going on over here. And our 4th anniversary events are almost here. Okay, so all of them are free, but the seating is getting tight. So if you haven't registered yet to join us, please do. You can go to KBLA1580.com. That's our website. And stop by there. Maybe do it right now while you're thinking of it so you don't get left out. Our 4th anniversary is going to be a massive celebration. We've got 4 different events. We've got that barbecue on Juneteenth. We're asking you to bring a gift card, a food gift card of any amount for the victims of the Altadena fire who still need help from a grocery store chain or a restaurant or whatever. We're grateful for anything you can bring to help those families. Many are still, believe it or not, displaced by the wildfires. And, of course, we're having that big barbecue. We're having the climate justice conversation moderated by Tavis. I'm doing the State of Black Women in L.A., and then there's the Empowerment Congress. So there's a lot of great things we're doing. They're all free. But if you're planning to come, seating is limited. So we would love for you to register in advance at KBLA1580.com. Ed Sanders is here with me, and Ed, Sam is on the phone. Sam from L.A., good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dominique. How are you?
I'm blessed. Happy Friday. What's on your mind?
Okay, yeah. I thought about you yesterday. I think yesterday or either Wednesday. I was reading an article about the that horrible monster, Trevor Kirk, and I read the whole article. And Luna had a nerve to say that he voted for him to get probation because they didn't have enough training. Every time a police get busted doing something, they always say they need more training. Well, what the heck are you doing at the academy? Playing dominoes, ping pong, or shooting hoops? Playing back. They kill me with that, man. And Carrie Harper the other day said she got a substantial settlement for it, even though she didn't mention the amount. So, but it's cool. But how they do this and they get away with it time and time again. And Luna, every time they running for office, we're going to weed out all the bad ones. We're not. It's going to be accountability. It's a bunch of crap, Dominique. Just like I'll tell my friends about what you said when what's her name, Jackie Lacey was running for DA. She came to the station, your other station, I guess regularly. As soon as she got in there, she might as well just went right there on Manchester Brea, pulled up her skirt or pants and said, "Kiss my rear." So that's what she basically did to the people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She got voted because she was the first black and the first female, and look what she did. So they all horrible, man. So it's like once you put on a uniform, you can do whatever you want to do, Dominique. And and I was kind of laughing because me and you might be one of a few people who still gets the paper. I didn't know that until I heard you say the other day you received the LA Times, and I have a subscription also.
Yeah.
So what's your take on that, Dominique, what I just said?
Well, to be fair, I only get the paper on Sundays. The rest of the time I read it electronically, but I do love having the paper. But here's the thing, Sam. When you talk about Jackie Lacey, you're right. She came on my show. She asked for our vote. She asked us to make her the first black woman DA. We did, and then she ran away, did not represent our interests, sent more black people to death row than any DA in the country, did not prosecute or hold accountable police officers. And so she was voted out with the help of Black Lives Matter grassroots and BLMLA. She was voted out. With the situation you're talking about is Trevor Kirk, the deputy who was convicted. And this is a very rare conviction. And then the new Trump administration prosecutor, attorney for the LA area, Bill Asaley, former assembly member, came after the conviction and convinced a judge to give this cop, this deputy, the same deal that he was offered as a plea deal after the conviction, which is unheard of. And it does fly in the face of accountability. I mean, it seems like a formula, as I've said before, for cops to never be held accountable ever for anything. It's good. The judge has agreed to downgrade it to a misdemeanor, which means the guy can go and get a job, which he reportedly already has, in another city as a cop, can keep owning a gun and keep doing the same thing. That's why I say, that we have to have, if you're a person that believes that we need law enforcement, or we should have law enforcement, then we have to have a major dismantling. And the reason they always say we need more training is because training equals money. Training is code word for money in our budget, right? They never say we need more accountability. They never say we need to stop we need to root out the white supremacists or the gang culture from inside of our law enforcement agencies. They never say that. We need to fire people who are Nazis, white supremacists. They don't say that. They say we need training because training is a line item in a budget. Training equals dollars. So what they're really saying when they say we need training is the answer to this is keep giving us more and more money.
Well, let me ask you this, Dominique. I didn't know that. So is he officially fired from the county sheriff department? You said he's already got a job somewhere else?
Yeah, he was fired when he was fired. I don't remember how long after the incident, but most of the time when officers have a terrible thing on tape, like in this case, most of the time they'll be put on some kind of administrative hold. But he was convicted of a felony. So he's no longer employed by he was convicted by a jury of his peers, as Attorney Carrie Harper pointed out. And yes, she did get a settlement for her client, which is the woman, the elderly woman who was thrown to the ground and punched and pepper sprayed on camera. She did get a settlement, but her client wanted accountability too, criminal accountability, and so that's why Attorney Harper went back to court when she actually didn't have to, and they are appealing this. So the felony could come back if an appeals court overturned this Reagan judge's decision to let this guy skate with a misdemeanor, and there's still a possibility that he'll get no time at all, that he'll just get probation or something.
Okay, did you hear what he did to his? I heard two more things before I go, please. I heard last week that his own wife and mother-in-law claimed that he threatened to kill them or something like that. I don't know if that was brought up.
Attorney Carrie Harper did mention that on this show, and she says she has the mother-in-law under oath swearing that.
Oh, okay.
So apparently it's
no
verifiable.
For them.
Yeah, no, because he was not prosecuted for that. That was just domestic violence incident where no charges were moved forward on that.
Well, what about the lady he slammed to the ground? All she was done was filming it. Now, here's another thing. It's not against the law to film the police or whatever like that. So the lady that he did that to was only filming. So what's the deal on that? And they still want to let him walk.
Well, they're claiming, and the LA Times, the way they're reporting it really ticks me off. They're claiming that she was a robbery suspect. In reality, she was accused of shoplifting, which is not robbery, and it turned out she didn't even do that. And she's an older American, a frail woman. Like what training do you need that tells you don't take a senior citizen, a tiny, frail senior citizen, and body slam her and then punch her? There's no training for that. That's called humanity. I don't know how you train someone. Yeah.
Right. Well, if there's no repercussions to your action, Dominique, why would you stop doing what you're doing? That's why I told you before, and I'll say it again. Every time I hate them. Every time they get shot or killed, it's always here come the tears and the towels. Oh, he was a great. He coached Little League. He was a Boy Scout. He did all this and that. And they all get up here and want to say that. But then, like you say, Dominique, they always want to smear the victim. Well, they did 2 years in jail. Or they got, it's horrible, man. I hate them, I really do, Dominique. So anyway, I'll land with that, and thank you very much.
Thank you for your call, Sam. I do my best not to hate anyone, and I don't categorically hate. I'm not going to say I hate all cops. I hate you because you're a cop. I hate the system of white supremacy, the way it's infiltrated our law enforcement. I hate the origins of policing in this country, which are in the slave-catching tradition. And I do feel like a little tinkering around the edges ain't it. We need massive, meaningful reimagining and dismantling. Look, the FBI, which is a law enforcement agency itself, which has also clearly been infiltrated with people that practice the lie of white supremacy, put out 2 reports saying that law enforcement has been tainted by white supremacist, neo-Nazi organizations. And we saw it unfold. We saw it unfold on January 6th at the Capitol, right? Was that 2021 at the Capitol? We saw it unfold because we saw members of law enforcement agencies participating in attacking other cops and trying to overthrow the government. So clearly we have a problem. Why is there no systemic and comprehensive effort by anybody to purge Nazis, neo-Nazis, and people who practice the illusion of white supremacy out of these agencies? Why are we just another day, business as usual? That is a problem. No matter how you feel about cops. I try not to hate anybody categorically. I hate all these. I hate all, of this race or this gender or this sexual preference or this job category. Even all of these type of drivers. I try not to do that because I don't want hate in my heart. I don't want to live based on hate. I feel like everyone deserves a chance at redemption. But I hate the behavior. I hate the behavior. I hate the system. I hate the outcomes. And as I mentioned on the closest day to the anniversary of the murder of George Floyd that we had on the air, which I believe was a Friday, this New York Times article that tracks how since 2020 and the massive protests, every year we've had more and more and more people killed by cops. You would think it would go down after all the protests and the consciousness raising and the conversation and this so-called training, which is just give us more money in our budget. But in reality, it's just the opposite. More and more people being killed. So that means we got our work cut out for us. And we won't give up. Sam called 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. 800-920-1580. This is Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Marina Del Rey turns 60, and you're invited to the party. Join us Saturday, May 31st from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Burton Chase Park for Marina Culture Jam, a free community celebration packed with music, dance, art, and fun for all ages. Experience electrifying performances by Takeo Project and Inca. Take a historic harbor tour, join the Freedom Drum Circle, and hop on a $1 water bus ride. Celebrate culture, connection, and coastline. RSVP at beaches.lacounty.gov/Marina Culture Jam.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh my, Ed Sanders, I should have let you weigh in on that conversation. We had Attorney Carrie Harper on twice before and after that ruling by a judge letting this deputy, that was the Winco case out in Lancaster, letting him have what they are calling a post-conviction plea deal. You got any thoughts on that, sir?
I'm sorry, Dominique, I was having a bad connection there. Can you lead me in again?
Well, no, it was a case that Attorney Carrie Harper was the civil attorney on. The case of this, I don't know if you remember the elderly woman who was thrown to the ground by a sheriff's deputy at the Winco market in Lancaster, and then that deputy was convicted, and now the new Trump prosecutor has given them a post-conviction plea deal, so they've knocked down that felony to a misdemeanor, and the guy can go back and be a cop again.
Yeah, I was taken by your comments really more on the system of law enforcement, and I think you and I see this the same, where we time and again you look at the role that white supremacy plays in law enforcement, and this is a very similar case, right? This is just another example of that. There's no reason to go back and knock down this officer's sentence. The only thing that he's doing is sending dog whistles back to white supremacists that he will take care of you, like what he said with the January 6th people. What was it? Stand back and stand down, or whatever he said. And that part of it is frustrating. I echo every bit of the frustration that you had. You wonder why this continues. There have been multiple reports, really at the federal level, that detail the number and the amount of people that are suspected to be white supremacists within, not just the FBI but local law enforcement. And I'll put it this way: you see the movement to target Harvard University over anti-Semitic comments, right? So action can be taken really, really quickly on this, but you haven't seen it towards law enforcement, and that's what's so frustrating for us. It's not even a curious thing; it's just pure frustration with the country on this.
Yeah, well, I've said it a lot, but I think what you're citing is exactly this is one of those times where the president is telling us where he's going with law enforcement, and I feel like this case is just an amplification of that. We less and less and less accountability, as if we ever thought we could have less than 2% of cops that actually face charges for their behavior. That's the number we're at now, 2%. And of that 2%, less than 5% are actually convicted. Now we have one who's convicted, and that conviction is overturned. It's weird to me because, well, not weird, but it's problematic because we've always respected the jury verdict. The jury verdict has been kind of almost sacred in this country.
Absolutely. And if a jury holds you to have been guilty, then we feel that you're guilty. To go back after the fact and lessen the sentence is just there aren't appropriate words on the air to use to describe it.
Yeah. Well, it's a couple of weirds. Well, we don't really have time. Okay, Ed, what do you want to say? What do you want to talk about before I launch us into something that we don't have time to talk about? I know you constantly have campaigns going on. You're always trying to raise our awareness about this, that, and the third, especially water. So maybe I should just hand you the mic instead of going off into one of these local stories that is puzzling.
Now I'm curious as to what story you would have gone.
Well, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
We can always talk water, but water is it's Friday. It's almost 7:00, but
it sure is.
I will say this though, that the reservoirs are full, and we've had a couple good years of rain, but there is an article in the paper. I think it's this morning. I read it last night. That the Colorado River is running lower than expected. And that's just something to keep your eye on. So much of our water on the eastern side of the state comes from the Colorado River. And, when there are shortages, the impact is to communities of color. And there are a lot of our relatives have moved out to the IE over the years, and so they tend to be at risk.
Yeah, and I'm always suspicious when we say, oh, we've had a couple good years of rain, party on, and people get out their hoses and start watering sidewalks again, because we live in a desert. If you're in California, this is desert territory. So I just think we have to change our mindset.
Well, we have to realize our state infrastructure was built for a population of 20 million. We're now 40 million people.
Wow.
In the state of California. And so, there's just that many more people, to your point, living in a desert, and the infrastructure really isn't there. And so more to come on that.
40 million people. It's more than so many countries. It's not more than one or two countries. It's more than a lot of nations. 40 million in the nation of California. Ed Sanders, remind folks where they can find you.
Dominique, you got to lead me off of X. I got to get off X, but right now I'm Edward M. Sanders at X. I'm going to set up a time with you to tell me how to get off of X. So.
No, I'm still on there too. I can't say anything. I feel like I need to see what Elon Musk is tweeting. So I'm still on there, although they're defunding me. They're dropping my followers every day. It's funny because my engagement is up, but my followers are steadily going down. It's time for Freedman Friday. Ed, thank you so much. We're talking reparations next after news, traffic, and sports. We do it every Friday, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz says conditions at Miami's Crone Detention Center are incredibly disturbing.
They are there for 24 to 48 hours and are having to sleep, eat, and defecate and urinate in the same room.
During a surprise visit, she found over 1,100 migrants crammed into a facility built for 882. President Trump is in Pittsburgh today for his first rally since re-election, celebrating a new deal allowing Japan's Nippon Steel to invest in U.S. steel. The partnership keeps the company's headquarters in Pittsburgh and promises billions in upgrades across U.S. facilities. And mental health teams are on the ground in tornado areas of St. Louis, Missouri. Behavioral Health Response has deployed 40 clinicians to help residents cope with trauma, and residents can dial 988 for 24/7 support. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Dodgers and the Yankees, two of baseball's most iconic franchises. Their rivalry, once a battle between boroughs, would transition into an East Coast-West Coast affair. Come to Dodger Stadium Friday, May 30th through June 1st for the three-game series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Visit Dodgers.com/tickets.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
For New York Knicks fans around the country, your season is not over. The Knicks avoided elimination in the NBA playoffs Thursday night with a 111-94 win over Indiana in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana is up 3-2. The series goes back to Indianapolis for Game 6 on Saturday. The Knicks need to win to force a Game 7 in New York on Monday. The Yankees are in town this weekend to play the Dodgers. Game 1 of a 3-game series is tonight at Dodger Stadium. First meeting between the Dodgers and Yankees since they met up in the World Series last year. The Angels are at Cleveland tonight. The Angels are trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. UCLA's softball team got a walk-off 2-run homer from Jessica Clemens to beat Oregon 4-2 in the first round of the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City. UCLA plays Texas Tech on Saturday. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
You really about to do it? 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Baby! 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You ready? Somebody make some noise in this joint!
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again!
Years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God!
But